Welcome to the second episode in my Designer versus DIY series, where I create DIY versions of the Disney Parks Designer Ear Collection. If you missed the first video that I did a DIY version of the Betsy Johnson ears, in which I made them out of actual bath loofahs because they look like bath loofahs. And for today's video, I have a DIY version of the Her Universe Princess Leia cinnamon bun ears. I figured it would be good to do these ears now because this is a very Star Wars heavy month. We just had Rise of the Resistance open in Walt Disney World, which just looks absolutely amazing. We have the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker movie coming at the end of this month, and of course, we have Baby Yoda on The Mandalorian. I have a whole video professing my love for Baby Yoda, and I guess I'm kind of now a Star Wars fan because of that. But that's all why it seemed like the perfect time to do these Star Wars themed ears. So this is what the actual ears look like. They're designed to be a twist on the iconic Princess Leia cinnamon buns, but done as ears. However, there's a few things I think are kind of weird about them. I think the choice of fabric is a little strange because I think it's a little bit too velvety, and so it kind of comes off strangely in a lot of lights. The little metal adornment that's on the bow has been a major issue. Most all of the reviewers for these ears on Shop Disney say that it sticks down too far and it basically pokes into their head. I haven't seen these ears in person, but they almost look like they're kind of sandwiched, like there's two put together. Because they're supposed to be kind of illusion ears, it's strange that the band is designed to be white, although I get it that it's trying to play into Leia's dress. But there's no illusion with making this kind of seem like the play on hair. But overall, I mean, it's still kind of an interesting design. The real kicker though is that the retail price of the ears is $78. These are ears where it doesn't seem like there's any type of real special material used. Again, there just doesn't seem to be any reason why they should be $78. They could still be exclusive designer and limited release, but had a more accessible lower price point. So that's why I'm here today to present to you this full DIY version, and I think that these ears actually turn out to be a pretty great dupe. It actually only cost me $3 to make these ears because I had all of the other materials on hand aside from some silver paint, but otherwise all of the fabric you can get at Joann's. I'll link to all of the specific types of fabric that I used in the description, and if you did seriously want to make these, all you'd have to do is get a super small amount of fabric. Really would not cost that much, and you would get a pretty great looking product in the end. So here's a little bit of a closer look at these ears. We have our two cinnamon bun ears. These actually are really simple to make, really easy technique. I hand sewed them onto the headband, which is why I use this fluffy fabric. This bow fabric I have on hand with a little silver detailing kind of matches well with the original. And then I made my own little bow adornment out of polymer clay, painted it silver, and that works as the kind of metal finishing, except it's not going to have any issues with poking me in the head. You can also repurpose this DIY to make actual cinnamon bun ears, and that's what I'm going to do because I have my confectioneer shop, so I make all sweet treat ears. So I'm going to do the exact same technique, but put in some brown glitter and some faux sugar to make them look like actual cinnamon buns. So let's now get into how I actually made these ears.
I start off with my base 1-inch plastic headband that I use for all my ears. I cover it with this super soft white fabric and finish with white braid trim. The fluffy fabric will allow me to sew the ears directly onto the headband. For the ears themselves, I'm using this minky brown fabric. I'm going to cut a strip of fabric 6.75 centimeters wide along the full height of the fabric. I might recommend only doing 6.5 centimeters since I think the ears came out a touch large. When your fabric is cut, you want to hot dog fold the right sides together and pin along the length. We're now going to sew the tube fully shut along all sides. I'm using the sewing machine foot as my 1 centimeter edge guide. Sew the base closed together as well. remove all the pins and cut off any excess fabric. Next, find the middle of the fabric tube and cut so that we can make our right ear and our left. Rip open a few centimeters of this seam, and we're going to now turn our fabric right side out. I have a stuffing tool, aka a chopstick, to help the process. Once you've finished with one fabric tube, repeat and turn right sides out with the other. Then take some fiber fill and we're going to stuff the ears. Take small amounts at a time and use the stuffing tool to push it all the way through to the end. Continue stuffing until you're close to the end, and then repeat for the second ear. Using a glue gun, we can begin to roll up the ears. Place the glue along the fabric seam and continue to glue and roll the fabric around itself. Keep rolling until your ear looks like this, which is around 3 rolls around. Then cut off the excess fabric and remove a small amount of stuffing. Use hot glue to secure down to the open fabric. Once you finish with a second ear, we can begin attaching to the headband. On my headband, I'm marking down the center, and then I measure 4 centimeters down to mark where the ears will go. Before I attach the ears, I'm going to sew down and fully secure the open base. Then start sewing your ear onto the headband. Stitch into the ear, then stitch onto the headband, repeat. Sew all the way around the ear twice. Tie off your thread, then pull through and cut off to hide the excess. Do the same to attach your second ear. To make the bow, I'm using this silver foil dot fabric. Cut out a piece of fabric 26 by 20 centimeters. Fold in half and glue down along all sides. Fold the fabric in half and glue down, making sure the sides are symmetrical. Accordion fold the bow and add glue at all points to secure. Use a folded over piece of fabric to secure the bow center. Then glue the bow onto the headband. I always use additional glue to secure down and make sure the bow lies flush. We lastly need to make our bow embellishment using polymer clay. I happen to have silver clay on hand, but any color is fine. Work the clay and then flatten it out. I made a little template based on the real ears, and I'm going to cut out the clay using an X-Acto knife. I'm lightly scoring the back for better adhesion to the bow. Then I'm rolling out a small round ball and cutting down the base so it's fully flat. Score and then attach. Now bake accordingly to the polymer clay directions. Once out of the oven and cool, paint using a shiny metallic silver paint. Our very last step is to adhere the embellishment to the bow, and I'm using E6000 glue for that. And ta-da! You have a pair of beautiful handmade designer Princess Leia ears. Now I'm gonna go and try and turn these into some actual cinnamon buns.
Hopefully you enjoyed this DIY of how to make your own version of these Her Universe Princess Leia ears. I think in terms of a dupe, they actually came out pretty great. If I did redo this, I'd probably make the ears themselves a little bit smaller. But if you wore these in the parks, people would probably have to have a second look to see that you're actually not wearing the real $78 designer ears. But please do let me know what pair of Disney Parks designer ears you'd like to see me DIY next. But thanks for watching!